Hello everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Oh, I didn't spell that name right. You'd think I wasn't even called Jane, Jane. Okay, I'm not picking on that. And I'm sure some of you will, go ahead. I had a question for you actually. You're thinking, what could it be? Well, I have been asking a few vintage tires when I see them. Sellers, tires, usually if you sell, you buy. I've been asking them a couple of questions. Well, one in particular, the one I can remember right now, on vintage pens. This is a vintage. This is a 1992. It is inked. Not the look. It is a transitional piece, so not too common. I'm not going to say uncommon, just not too common. And so yeah, it has new, older parts. I guess that's when they're transitioning. I don't know how else to say it. So it's called a transition. And I was told, I said that it's not rare, but it's not common. Cool. So that's actually what I'm going to talk about, even though I did pull this one out because it is a limited edition, $1.99 and $1.99. It's 9 others, $1.99. I have often thought this when you're changing the nib, and I do it a lot, don't get me wrong. I just started doing some vintage, and both mine are Nundalunk. So I have a fake Nundalunk, but that doesn't count. So I had two vintage Nundalunks, one's 85 to 88, and this was a 92. And I do love my little editions. I'd call this one a kind of low, not exceptionally low, but pretty low. What do you think of I already know what the dealers, sellers had told me. Because I asked them, I says, it's not on camera. I'm not mentioning names because I don't want people to say, well, no, because, and you do what you want. Remember that. Never, ever let anyone tell you what you're going to do. Do what you feel is correct. I'm a firm believer in that and always have been. And I asked him, would that change the nib? Because I was talking to someone else. And I says, which I already knew I wasn't going to, either I loved it or I didn't. I said, what do you think I'd change the nib, son? Vintage pens. Does it hurt the retail? And the answer was, I did not ask the people who I bought from, because that's not there. I did ask several others. I asked two. It's one. Well, I'm getting mixed up now. One. There's been a total of three I've asked. No emails. And that's because they say, oh, you didn't email. I go, no, I don't want any paper trail. Nothing's coming back to you, period. I go, thank you. And I said, no, that's what I do. I don't do this. I don't go after. And I asked them, I says, just be honest with me. I says, I'm curious more than anything else. I says, if I change the nib, will it hurt the retail? And they said, yes. And they said, it depends how rare it is, which we all know that. And they're just like what I'm saying. If you hate the nib, then change it. I says, they wouldn't give me a price. So I'm assuming a couple $100, let's do this one, $350. Yeah, this was $350, I believe. It's a 146. I already said the date. I'm going to say it again. 1992, transitional piece. I would imagine it wouldn't be much. I could be wrong. I have no prices, so I can't go by that. Because they said it depends. We can't sit there and say, well, if you do this, this, and this, it's going to be this. And I said, oh, I agree. And they don't want to give a price because they say, someone can watch this 5 years from now and say, well, over there at Jane, she said that I said, no. I said, that's why I'm not mentioning one. But they have said, yes, it can hurt the retail as what you'll get, not retail. If you're selling a pen, it could hurt it. It depends what's done. And there again, it may not. I did. I was just kind of happy I actually heard that. I'd always thought that, and like I said, I just started collecting vintage Blancs, and I'm expecting more. Because next year I'm going to another big show, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't want to say where yet because it's way far away, but it's a big one, and then I'll pick up my vintage Blancs in Orlando, or at the other show. Like I said, I'm not saying where yet. But I can't wait. But my husband's going to this one, so yeah. And so that's what I was asking them. And they said yes. And I'm sure if you had a $3,000 pin, and there are some vintage ones that are that way. I look from a distance. They'll say, "Oh, no, I don't want to touch." I said, "Can I look though?" They go, "Of course." I said, "Can I take a photo?" They go, "No." I go, "Oh, okay." They go, "Of course you can." And then I get too excited and I never take a photo. And then I start yakking like I am now. So that was something I'd always thought was correct. But honestly, if I didn't like the nib on this, or even my 149 vintage, I would change it. So I'm not saying not to, but I'm saying that it could hurt. So keep that in the back of your mind, especially if it's to me, if it's a several $1,000 pin, the nib should be perfect. And I never asked anyone this, but this is my opinion, and we all know what it's worth. Zip zero nada. My opinion is when you have these, I'm going to say 250 and below. I don't have a lot of limited editions at 250 and below. I know that I pulled this one out intentionally for that reason. I'd say if you change the nib, it could hurt a little. Just like with the vintage. As much as the vintage, I don't think so. Because vintage was based on it. Look at this pen. I got a good eye on it. I really did. I bought both mine from actually they were next to each other. God, you can see it's inked. It's inked. I buy them to use them. And I have the 149. This is 146. I got to write this down because I don't know that. 1992. Where is it at? I had it someplace. I know I wrote down because I knew I had to get. There it is. 1992. Yeah, I know. I can't stand the link. What can I say? Oh, what can I say? Of course I can. It's just, you're writing, and when you get to 34, well, it's not quite 34, okay. 38 or 39. And I do these all usually at once. So I also think that if you had a low amount, I'm just coming off just saying 250 or below, because I think those are kind of low. I mean, you don't really see too many 100 or so. I don't think I had anything at 50 or 75 or 100. I don't think so. This might be my lowest at 199. Don't remember. Anyways, I probably don't then. So I'm going to say I don't. And I think it will hurt it a little bit because you changed it than the original. How much? I don't think a lot, especially being not vintage. I don't think the vintage will be a lot, as in, hundreds upon hundreds. I mean, it's 350. I'm gonna get 175. No, I think it depends, So it depends on the dealer. I would say anywhere from 15 to 25, which is really nothing. But this is me. None of them would say about how much, because they say, we just don't want to. I said, I understand. I totally understand, because there again, as I said, you'd be watching this 5 years from now and saying, "Well, Jane said," and I'm going, "Oh, no." I just had this one up here because it's a River City. It's ink too. I actually went 44th or October. And I'm thinking about inking 2 more because I can. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just things have been going well. Having fun. Had fun at both the shows. It's amazing. My husband's going to the next one. Hopefully it happens. Still a long ways away. It's August 1st or something. But yeah. He said, well, he had brought it up. I go, what? I go, yes. So I just wanted to, so what my question is, I should have this dark here. White, it's just my black mats, not too leather mat. My question is, would you change your nib on your vintage? These ones, I don't think it would hurt the retail too much. As in, it's a limited edition, but I don't think it would hurt very much. I don't think this, because this is $350. I don't think it's going to be a horrendous amount because of the price. Would you change it? What's it you had? 149 vintage, 1985 to 88, right around there. I was told 85. He says it could be a bit younger, like 85, 86, or 86, 87. So I'm going 88. 85 to 88, a 149 Mont Blanc, which was nowhere near what it is new. But I probably wouldn't change that one because I paid a decent amount of money for it. Would I change this one? No, because I'm happy with the nib. And I know a lot of times, for me, it's not. We change, we change things because, who doesn't want a fun nib? I mean, really, that's what it's all about, the fun nibs, at least to me, besides the pretty colors. Let's see, what do I have here? Actually, here's one. Really seeing that in my October? Yeah, the cartridges finally came in. They're just brown, but on the one side, they get halfway full and then inject them with like a golden color. So that'd be fun. Like this one is a limited edition. I am very happy with the nib. I did do a try test. And it's, of course, you're not going to be able to see it. Do I have my Visconti box close there? Yeah. I haven't been well enough to put things away yet. They're away, but they're not away. This is another 25 to the 118. So that is a low number. Do I like it? Yeah, I do. Do I love it as much as my Homo sapiens? Nope. My first love will always be my Homo sapiens. On this one has a little bit of heft, which I like. Excuse me. Now, is this one light? No. But it's a heck of a lot lighter. I don't have I did get it in a foin. And there it is, right here. Visconti. It writes pretty fun. Oh, yeah, you guys can see it. And I did put diamine. Excuse me, and my voice just keeps giving out on me. Diamine fireside snug, so it's reddish orange. So, I love the nib, so I wouldn't change it for that reason. I have changed some. This is another one. It's a fine nib, and I'm happy with it. Some of them I've had because I just didn't like how this is what it's a needle. I had CY grind down. I had way too much feedback from me, and I wanted more of a nicer writing experience, juicier. That's the word, juicy. So I had it the Times opened up by Kirk, and he just moved it out a little bit. It has some feedback. I'm just not one of these ones that drives me nuts. You know how that is, for those of you who understand. And those of you who don't, yay, I wish I wasn't. But yeah, so I just want to get on here and see what your thoughts are on this. I do love hearing it, what your thoughts are. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I mean, and I'll be honest, if it's a vintage pen under 1,000, nothing with a vintage pin for $1,000. I'm not going to say never. I would say, if you really don't like the nib, do it. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I mean, even if it's $75 and you have it for 8 more or 10 more years, it's worth it to lose that. I mean, you know, you times that, you divide that out. I mean, what is that, $750? I hope I'm right. I think so. $750 a year you lose. It's well worth my enjoyment of the pen. Because when I hate the nib, I don't ink it. I don't know about you. I don't ink it at all. And for me, it's more the nib. Sometimes the pen kind of gets, I just don't like the color of the pen. But one reason or another. Is there any of these that I don't like the color? No, I like that one. Just trying to see. No, that's why they're inked, because I like the color. I just want to see what y'all think. Most of mine that I do nibs are on the small makers. Not too many of them are on these. Usually, I had there again with my Homo sapiens. Atlas did test the nib for me. And at the Orlando Pen Show, Pen Show booth, you know, they sell things. I saw that, and I think what in the red and the pink, you know, to me this is close enough to pinkish red enough to say. And I just did some dry writing. You can tell with dry writing, if you're kind of new at it, it'd be kind of hard. But yeah, dry writing I knew, but the nib was fine. Oh, anyways, I got sidetracked. So that's what I think. And you know, remember, always do what's right by you. Always. Because if you hate the nib and you don't use the pen, isn't it worth changing the nib and losing that little bit? I mean, it can't be a lot, in my opinion. I could be wrong, not one of them, because they can't say. They cannot say, well, you know, this is what it's worth, and we're going to, and they're not going to tell you anyways. They'll just say, oh, we'll give you $300. You know, I paid $350. I'm just saying they wouldn't be. I would say it would be not a lot on this one. I have fallen from the lungs. How do you guys? You like the lungs? I know, I'm all over the place. Anyways, let me cut it off before it's any longer. It's supposed to be shorter than this. I just thought I'd have my current link last month and this month because I'm already getting ready. So if this comes out, I don't think it's coming out in September. I'm pretty sure it's coming out in October, this video. I try to get a few ahead just in case I lose my voice again. Anyways, I want to say thank you for watching. I'm going to have to rest the voice again. And have a great day.